Hello, everyone. Welcome into part 2 of episode 3 in season 2 of the Four Quarters podcast powered by Four Quarters Media. I'm your host, Tyler Bennett, here with you once again. Like I said, it's part 2 of a 3-part talent-packed Monday edition of the podcast. In part 1, which you hopefully listened to earlier, you heard from Capilano Blues men's basketball head coach Cassidy Kannemeyer. In part 2, right now, the reason why you're here on this one is you're going to hear from Lambton Lions guard / forward / entrepreneur Mason Hyde. And then in part 3, which hopefully you'll listen to right after this one, is with University of Toronto at Mississauga Eagles guard Janela Viado, capping off what, again, is a talent-packed 3-part episode of the Four Quarters podcast. But in this part, again, before we get started, just a bit of a disclaimer. All 3 parts, like I said in part 1, and I'll say again in part 3, all of these episodes have been recorded between June 4th and June 6th. So with the COVID-19 situation always kind of in transition in a bit of a ever-changing world right now, some of the conversations that we have on the 2020-21 season could very well be dated by the time you listen to these episodes. So just a bit of forewarning, if when we talk about hypothetical seasons and what could be and what have you, we can't control what comes out. Some information may come out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 weeks from now that says seasons are a go, canceled for the fall, what have you. If what we talk about is a bit different than the news, please don't hold it against me. I'm doing my best. But jumping into part number 2, I've done a story on Mason before on our website looking at his shoe business, Mason Hyde Shoes. We're going to put a voice to that in this episode, kind of get a bit more understanding from Mason himself, kind of what started it all for him, what kind of got him into the entrepreneur shoe selling business, and how he went from selling shoes on Kijiji to now attending conventions and selling over 400 pairs of shoes since he started. And kind of understood his process, so kind of what got him into shoes. Did he ever expect it to grow to this level? Talk about the support he's had from his high school, college teammates even as well. Looked at some of his favorite shoes, a collaboration or two he might want to see. Then we got into his journey at Lambton, because I think that's one that's similar to what we talked about in episode 1 with Dylan Marsden out at Camosun, how he was cut 4 times before he made it back. Mason wasn't cut 4 times, but he was cut and put in that work, similar to Dylan did, different circumstances, and earned himself a spot on the team. And we discussed his process, kind of what went into his motivation to get him from a negative verdict into a spot on the team. And fast forward to this year with the team hosting the OCAA championship at Lambton College, kind of what that community support meant to Mason, being a local kid he's from Guelph, but lives with his grandparents in the area, and just kind of what that support meant to the team. And even though the result didn't go their way, the crowd support was electric. You hear Mason describe it himself even better from a player's perspective. And we capped it off with looking at kind of what workouts he's doing at home to stay in shape, because like a lot of people, he can't get into a gym. He's getting shots up outside, which is tough if it's windy. There's no wind in a gym. So just kind of ways he's keeping busy, keeping in shape to be ready for whatever sort of season we're going to have in 2020-21. With that being said, I'll leave the rest of it to Mason to share his side of the story. So we'll jump right in now to part number 2 of episode 3 in season 2 of the Four Quarters podcast, powered by Four Quarters Media, with Lambton Lions guard / forward / entrepreneur Mason Hyde. Enjoy. All right, so we're now joined by Lambton Lions guard forward, a little bit of both. Mason Hyde, also founder of Mason Hyde Shoes. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing all right. Trying to
Yeah,
just stay sane as is everybody right now. Just find different ways to keep busy and try to stay out of my wife's hair as much as humanly possible. But it's when there's only one other person in the house, that's all you're in their hair, no matter what you do. Like I think it's to
yeah,
the point now,
exactly.
if you breathe too heavy, it's irritating.
Yeah,
Uh, what do you, before we get into kind of your history with the shoe business, basketball, whatever, what are you doing now just to keep busy with the family all back at home? You said your sister just went back to work.
yeah.
What are you doing just some sort of normalcy in your life these days?
Well, so usually I stay with my grandparents when I'm going to Lambton. So I went
Okay.
back to my parents' place in the Guelph area
Mm-hmm.
just for the quarantine. So I don't have everything with me. So a lot of my time is I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K.
Okay.
But other than that, watching a few movies, just doing some basketball workouts, and
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. Just trying to
Go.
stay busy.
What are the go-to movies or shows that you watch now? Obviously, I'm assuming you watched The Last Dance.
Yeah, of course. I watched The Last Dance
Okay.
right away when it came out every time.
Okay.
I watch a lot of Shark Tank actually,
Okay.
and my family's in the middle of watching the Rocky and Creed series right now.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm I'm still on wait. I still have to watch one more episode of Last Dance.
Okay.
I didn't watch it when it came out. Like I wanted to watch him like not wait. But
Right.
then my wife went back to work when we finished episode 9, so now I got to wait for her to come back to watch 10. So it's been like
Uh.
a week and a half by the time we can watch it. But the more I watch it, the more I remember what happens. And I mean, you know the ending,
Right.
you know what
Right.
happens. So I don't really feel like I'm missing too much in the last one.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, you have to watch it now. You can't just watch
Yeah.
9 and
For
quit
sure.
and just
For sure.
call it a day. I can't not finish it now. Um, Kind of want to get the story. You've told me it before, and I think a few people know it. The story behind Mason Hyde Shoes, kind of how that started, where your love of shoes came from. Just kind of if you want to touch on like how you got that, how that all started.
Yeah. So basically, I started off when I started playing basketball in grade 8, I believe.
Okay.
I started wearing a pair of Derrick Roses. They were the cheaper alternatives to most basketball shoes out
Mm-hmm.
at the time, but I always wanted a pair of Kevin Durant's.
Mm-hmm.
So I was saving my money, bought my first pair of Kevin Durant's when I went into the grade 9 starting high school, and I loved them. I wanted more Kevin Durant basketball shoes,
Okay.
but again, in grade 9, I'm still looking for a part-time job at that time,
Right.
and I don't have the money to just keep buying Kevin Durant's. So um, I I started going to some Nike outlet stores. You can
Mm-hmm.
find some discount shoes there. I
Mm-hmm.
found another pair of Durant's there, really cheap, but there were also a bunch of other basketball shoes there that weren't my size, and
Okay.
it was really tough after looking at other shoes that were more expensive, passing up on those shoes that were cheaper. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided to pick up a couple pairs that were pretty cheap, and I was just see if I could help out a friend get them a pair of shoes for cheaper.
Okay.
And I realized like you can get a lot of interest on some of these shoes because I'm buying for way cheaper, but I
Mm-hmm.
can still resell them for below their market price. And I started out my first year, sold 4, 5, or 6 pairs, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm at the point where I'm selling probably 3 pairs a week. And
Okay.
in a span of 3 years, I've sold almost 400 pairs.
Yeah. Yeah. This is when we did a story on it online, which I'll link in this. People can read more about it. Yeah, you were at like well over 400 pairs. And did you ever see it growing to this extent, like what it is now with the Instagram and the following you've built? Did you ever see it getting this big when you were back in high school?
I mean, within the first year, no. After selling 5 or 6 pairs, like it's really patience at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So selling 5 or 6 pairs kind of gets frustrating, but again, you can't rush it. You're still going to sell those pairs for the price that you want. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
matter of patience. Um, Once I got into year 2 and I sold, once I was at about 150, 200 sales, then I started selling merch to my high school. And I think we might have talked about this.
Yeah.
I was making my own merchandise, and my first 2 orders of merchandise sold out instantly to students in my high school. And it just like the brand just caught on within my high school. And once that started happening and I was selling out merchandise quick, then I started realizing, okay, I can do this pretty consistently and flip pairs at a pretty rapid pace.
And you go to conventions now too, right? Like you either buy at conventions, you set up booths at conventions too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that's actually my main source of selling now. I can go to a convention and in a weekend sell 25, 30 pairs there.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I usually buy a table for the Saturday and the Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll sell all day Saturday and the first half of Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then any of the money that I made during that first day and a half, I'll then go around to other booths, because once you're getting near the end of the convention, sellers start getting more desperate to sell their pairs because they paid for their tables to be there. They paid their gas to get there. They want to make some sort of money. So you start looking for sellers that are desperate to sell their pairs. So after you made all that money in the first day and a half, you start using that money and buying more pairs and just restocking what my inventory is.
Have you found any like big steals at like the later hours in conventions? Like you feel like the IKEA commercial, you feel like you have to run out and start the car like you stole it?
Yeah, I've had times at conventions where I bought a pair and sold it at the convention within 30 minutes. And
okay.
I'm not going to say how much cash I made on that, but like you can actually make money just going around at the conventions and buying and selling at the conventions.
Okay, so you buy them from one booth, bring them back to yours, and sell it for still below market, but more than what you bought it for.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's honestly, I never thought that would be a scenario. I just thought that never crossed my mind, but it makes a lot of sense. If you find it cheap and you have a big enough following, just flip it again. You're already there. Yeah. That's smart. How has COVID affected all this with everything now predominantly online shopping for the last 3 months? Have you seen a positive or negative impact on sales?
So in the beginning, it was definitely positive. I found people were at home more. So I was able to sell. I was selling a bunch of pairs. But as we've gotten further into this, I've left from my grandparents' place, so all my shoes are at my grandparents' place. So I'm still in communication. I'm still in communication with customers. And when I left my grandparents' place, I brought a few pairs with me that I was in communication with customers at the time about. But it's really stalled, and I've been talking to other resellers that I know, and it's really stalled everybody's sales. I have a few deals lined up for when all this is cleared. When all this is cleared, but it's pretty much stalled everything right now.
What's the end goal for all of this? Like, do you want to see it continue? Because like we talked before, like the end goal is to be like in marketing or something for like a high-end brand like Jordan or what have you. Is there an end goal for the shoes, or is it just kind of till it runs its course and see what happens?
So yeah, I want to get into, my ultimate goal is to get into some sort of marketing, whether that be with Nike, Adidas, Foot Locker, Jordan, something like that. So I don't think I'd be able to be selling if I'm working for one of those companies. My ultimate goal is just build up as much money as I can to put me in a good position after graduation. So whether that be to buy a new car after school, or maybe a down payment on a house, something like that. I just want to build up as much as I can for when I'm done graduation.
Okay, that's fair. And then any extra shoes you just keep for yourself and give them away to people?
Yeah, I mean, that could happen. Yeah, if I get near the end, I might just start selling things off for cheaper.
Might as well.
But yeah, I mean, the end's not anywhere near right now because I've still got at least 2 more years of school. But,
yeah. We had a couple shoe questions come in on Instagram before we shift into your story at Lambton in last season. Favorite shoe besides the Jordan 1s? Because that's your all-time number one, right? The Jordan 1s.
Yeah, Jordan 1s are the best.
Okay.
Okay, I get this question a lot. My answer to a lot of people is like, it's like choosing a favorite child. Like,
everybody has one though. Everybody has a favorite child, no matter what they say. There's always a favorite that is a little bit further ahead than the others.
Okay. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jordan 11.
Okay.
A lot of people are, because it's just the shiny patent leather, and it was ahead of the game at the time when it came out. the other thing for me, I'm a North Carolina basketball fan, so
Terrible taste,
any
but yeah.
any Jordan that comes out in the North Carolina colorway, I'm a big fan of. It doesn't matter the number. I just
Okay.
got the North Carolina Jordan 3s, and I really like those.
Yeah, I saw those online, and yeah, I mean it's a nice shoe, but I mean it's North Carolina.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. It makes sense, but I don't know. I don't know how many times I've heard you in the hallway talking about Cole Anthony being the best player in college basketball and North Carolina this, and there's Mason in his baby blue again.
Yeah.
It's one athlete or celebrity you'd like to see release their own signature shoe, or a collaboration you'd like to see, like Kyrie and SpongeBob. Is there a collaboration you'd like to see, or an athlete release their own shoe that hasn't already?
Collaborations are really tough to talk about because they're more based on the athlete's personality.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as a new signature shoe, I was always waiting for Giannis to come out with his signature shoe. So finally that came out this past year.
Were you impressed with his signature shoe or disappointed?
I actually haven't got to try a pair yet.
Okay.
Which is I definitely want to try a pair of that.
Okay.
That's tough. I mean, I'm a Siakam fan. Siakam would be nice, but I don't ever see Siakam getting a pair of shoes.
No?
I think no.
Okay.
I think the next guy you might see is Ja Morant.
Okay.
I think he's a really fun player to watch. He's really involved with Nike. He's always wearing Kyrie's and Kobe's. So if they can get a hold of him and work on a signature shoe, he's an explosive player, very much like Westbrook. And I think it'd just be easy to market a young player, explosive player, fun to watch. I think a Ja Morant Nike would be really nice to see.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see if any more collaborations with athletes in like shows like SpongeBob or like a Disney recess line that way. That'd be wicked. I don't know who would do it, but
or Ja Morant's a very big Dragon Ball Z fan.
There you go. See, he could be a Dragon Ball Z collaboration. I think there's a lot of ways. Like it'd be interesting to see. I don't know how they would make it happen, but like you could almost go tie in Disney movies and do a men's and women's collaboration because there's so many male and female dominated characters.
Yep.
Get a male athlete and a female athlete and do a joint collaboration with a movie, and then have both sides come out with shoes. I don't know if that's ever been done. I don't know how you would do it or how you would market that, but think that comes to mind is like you can do Little Mermaid and have 3 female shoes and men's shoes and kind of bridge the gap a bit, because I don't really know if there's many women's shoe collaborations. No,
it's tough, and that's kind of been worked on recently. I don't know if you've ever seen the story, Steph Curry, when he came out with his one signature pair of shoes, he got a letter from a little girl, and she wanted a pair of Curry, so he actually worked with Under Armour and brought out a whole line on their website and helped her out with that. But
it'd be nice to see more female shoe lines. Like get your athletes, like bring in your WNBA stars or whatever and have them. Obviously they are around to an extent, but not to the magnitude of male signature shoes. I think that would be interesting to see who the first one would be. Like big time market.
Right now I think the marketing is tough because the WNBA isn't there, but obviously it's on the rise. I mean, like I said, I play a lot of NBA 2K, and WNBA is now in 2K. So if the marketing keeps going up and the player names start getting more noticed, then that could definitely be a possibility.
It would be, for the women's game, it'd be huge.
Like
Elena Delle Donne, Maya Moore, the list could go on, and you would have.
Delle Donne's already with Nike, and she does a lot of marketing commercials with them. So that could be a possibility.
It's probably only a matter of time before she has her first shoe and a line comes out and bridges that gap, and it's more on par. I don't know if it'll ever be on par with the men's game, but get more equality across the board and give women something to aspire to, I guess.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, I don't want to get roasted for that, but the point was there. I apologize. shifting gears to Lambton, and I think your story is one that people can draw inspiration from. When I talked to Dylan Marsden at Camosun last week, he was in the similar boat. He was cut 4 times before he made the team at Camosun, so his 5-year college career took 10 years. And you weren't cut 4 times.
No.
But you were once at the start of the year, and most people may have quit when they were cut and just said, I'll just try out next year. You earned your spot in second semester.
Yep.
Kind of just talk a little bit about your journey to earning your spot on the team last year, or 2 seasons ago now.
All right. So, yeah, in high school, I had reached out to James. James is our head coach. And I had gone out to practice with them a couple times in high school. It was good experience, but I knew I wasn't at that level. But then coming into September, I wasn't on the roster. And it was really tough going through all of high school. And, like, I come from a school that's not very sport-oriented. So, like, if you were playing a sport, you were known for playing that sport. So, like, I was kind of known at my high school for playing basketball. And it was just tough being at Lambton. And, like, I'm in sports and rec management, and a lot of the guys on the team are in sports and rec management. And I'd have my classmates talking about, oh, yeah, we're going to practice tonight. And that just, like, it kind of messed with me, not thinking, hey, I'm going to practice tonight too. Like, I'm not a basketball player anymore at that point. So that motivated me. I was in the gym shooting every day. Weight room is big for me too. I think it's really important to build muscle for basketball and stay in shape in the weight room. So, yeah, I'm shooting. I'm in the weight room every day. And I just kept giving everything I could, because I knew I was at a level where if I just kept working, I could get to the college roster. And in early January of last season, James invited me out to a couple of practices, and I practiced with the team and traveled with the team just to watch games. But I was practicing with them for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then he offered me a roster spot, and I believe I played the last 3 or 4 regular season games with them, and then into playoffs, got a few playoff minutes, and then we got into this next season, and I've been with the roster the whole year.
Was there ever a point in that first semester that you thought of just giving up?
I mean, at the time, actually, I didn't even realize you could sign players halfway through the season.
Okay.
So the whole time going through my mind, I'm thinking I've got to work for next season. So there wasn't as much of urgency, I guess.
Okay.
So, I mean, yes, I'm pushing myself, but I'm not thinking, hey, I could get on the roster at any time right now. I'm thinking I'm going to have an off season as well, where I'm going to get into the summer and be able to do workouts then. I wouldn't say I ever wanted to quit, because basketball is such a passion for me, but there are days where you're not going to feel as motivated as you are on other days, right?
Right. Well, other than, like, obviously you mentioned it a bit, like being around the guys in sports and rec, hearing them kind of talk about going to practice, going to games, and you kind of being on the outside, being a basketball player. What else motivated you? Was there anything, like, internally that motivated you to continue pushing, like, to prove to yourself that you could do it, to the players, to the team? What else motivated you to keep going?
Right. Again, I think just coming out of my high school, a lot of people, just because I was a basketball player and we're not a sport-oriented school, a lot of people just I think a lot of people assumed I was going to find somewhere to play college basketball.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what the thoughts were on that, but I kind of, like, again, being seen as a basketball player, I just wanted to show kids in my high school that I could play on a college team, and that I wasn't just done basketball after grade 12 kind of thing. So that motivated me. And again, being a part of a team is always amazing. So just not going that first semester, not being a part of any sort of team. I played some intramurals with some teams, like with some people from my program, but I wanted to be a part of a team on the bus traveling and stuff, and in a locker room. And that was a big motivating factor as well.
Yeah, intramurals are just not the same. Like, the compete level is not nearly the same. You're not traveling with people. Like, it's just you meet at the gym, you play, and you go your separate ways, and you see them in class a little bit here and there if they show up, and then it's nowhere close to a team. But I mean, it gets you in the gym. I mean, it's reps at least, but
But I wasn't even playing basketball. I was on an intramural soccer team, and I'm not a soccer player at all. I was just trying to do something to be part of a team. So.
Just something to get even a whiff of what it's like to be on a team again.
Exactly.
Hey, you got to do something to keep active. I mean, it could have been worse. I don't know what else you could have done, but at least you were in the gym playing. You could have been playing 2K at home all the time.
True.
And that's where we are now. So it all comes full circle after all.
Yeah.
This year, you guys hosted the Provincials OCAA 2020 tournament. Place was packed. And
it was amazing.
I know talked about with Watts on Wednesday, didn't really go your way. First half was great. Second half, want to forget. What was it like hosting that event and with the community support all weekend? The gym was packed, even when you guys weren't playing. Just what was it like for you guys to have that support from the community?
Well, the energy was incredible in the building. I mean, I was watching a few of the games beforehand, and it started to get packed around. I think it was the Redeemer game right before us.
Yeah, Redeemer Sheridan.
Yeah, it was filling out pretty well then. And then we went into the locker room to get ready. And I was standing when we came out of the locker room. I was one of the last guys out. I was still standing in the locker room talking to a couple guys. Yep. And whoever led the guys out the tunnel into the gym, as soon as those doors opened, we could hear the gym from the locker room.
Okay.
And the three of us are in there like, oh man, we got to go. So we ran out the locker room, and just the energy as we ran out that tunnel into the gym, I jumped through the doorway and I almost hit my head off the doorway because like you just got this adrenaline boost as you came running through the tunnel. And going into warm-ups, like there was just such adrenaline running within our team, just knowing that every person there, the whole city was there supporting us. And the way it was set up, VIP booths, just everyone trying to fill in, looking through the windows up top. And it was like, this is like the main event in the area for the night. And it was really cool. I mean, again, the results didn't go how we wanted. And it's tough knowing that might be the only time we ever have a crowd like that. Like,
that's true.
Supporting us. We might have that opportunity again with the crowd against us. But it's tough. It's still, I know it hurt a lot of guys. But I mean, we definitely want to get back to a spot where maybe we host a crossover game this year and we can try and get a similar crowd.
Yeah, it was. I remember too because we had to put the benches in front of bleachers to get people on, and the end by your bench they had the Lakers team sitting on the bench, and tip-off, the ball goes down and some kid just got absolutely trucked by a George Brown kid going for the ball. And I like 5 seconds into a game, and this poor kid just got absolutely run over. But that's how full it was. Like you had to put in benches in front of bleachers just to get people to sit. And like the people were standing in the doorways, like not moving, just anywhere to get in. Like it was the place to be on the Friday night.
Yeah.
And like you said, like there's never been that big of a crowd in there before. Who knows when it'll happen again, especially with COVID now just ruining everything. You may only have half a gym at most for the next whatever season we're going to have, if anything at this point. But like the energy in there, like if you could bottle that up and have it every game, you take that 11 times out of 10.
If you could have it in the weight room or in practice, it'd be awesome.
Just
that
pump the
adrenaline
noise.
rush exactly.
We gotta move that doorway higher then if you're gonna jump and hit your head off it.
Yeah.
So now, obviously, with that kind of still leaving a bitter taste in some mouths on the team. Obviously, we can't get in gyms now. Can't work out. You got to work out at home. What kind of workouts are you doing now at home to try and keep yourself in shape and ready for whenever we can get back into a gym, get back into the school, have like 1-on-1s, 5-on-5? What are you doing now to work out at home?
So I'm lucky enough. I have a couple of dumbbells, a bench, and a barbell, some stuff like that. So it's not, I can't like max out my weights or anything like that because I don't have like big enough plates.
Mhm.
but I'm able to get a bit of strength and strength training in.
Mhm.
Since I was younger, I've always been interested in like working in like doing field work, agility, that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
I've built up this big collection of agility work stuff. So I have an agility ladder, speed hurdles, a parachute for running sprints, that kind
Okay.
of stuff. So I've
Mhm.
been in the field doing a lot of work like that.
Mhm.
Um, and then there's also a court just around the corner. I don't know if I was supposed to be there or not, but nobody came and talked to me. So I've been
That's
at
all
the
right.
court.
Yep.
I've been at the court shooting like 3-4 times a week, that kind of
Okay.
thing. Whenever the weather's nice, I try and get out and shoot for a little bit. So, I mean, it started out a couple of the workouts I was doing, carrying like paint containers up and walking up the stairs and
Yep.
stuff like that, just trying to get some sort of work in. But yeah, I figured out a fairly good routine doing
Mhm.
agility work, strength work, and shooting a little bit. So it's just
Okay.
tough to shoot outside because sometimes you get a windy day and it starts messing with your
The ball's all over the
shot and
place, and
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've been working a lot on finishing just because I have a net and I'm able to do that.
heaven forbid too, if you ever miss a shot or it hits the rim an odd way and you got to chase the ball down the street or through the park, like at least in a gym you have walls that it eventually
Yeah.
may bounce back to you, or you have the gun or anything to get the ball back to you. If you're outside,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
chasing after the ball everywhere.
I definitely
Terrible.
want to get back on the shooting machine. That's probably the one thing I miss the most right now.
Yeah, having something or someone pass you the ball or
Hmm.
whatever. Now you gotta make a shot, go get it, go back to your spot, shoot, go get it, go back to your spot. There's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it now that you're outdoors, and I think a lot of people at home, like you just kind of got to find ways to use what you have, like paint containers. I've seen people use cases of beer, cases of pop, just
Exactly.
whatever you have. And there's a lot of you can do like body weight exercises just to stay in some sort of shape and not put on quarantine weight that's going to take
Yeah.
forever to lose. Like
I
myself,
just
like
I
it's
just bought a
ridiculous.
jump rope too. I just bought a jump rope too, and
Jeez.
yeah, that's been good.
I haven't had I haven't
I
had one of
enjoy
those
doing that.
since the jump rope for heart days back in public school.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
this is
dated
my first
myself
one
too.
since then.
Like,
Yeah, I'm not a runner, so I'm
oh,
trying to find some sort of way to do cardio. So jump rope's one that I enjoy, especially watching the Rocky movies. Now you start
that's
seeing
true.
some jump rope training, and that just kind of gets in your head and motivates you too.
You just do it while you watch the movie. Just jump rope and follow along. And I don't trust people who run though. Like, why would you want to do that for fun?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
the look on people's faces when they run, like they're straining, like they look exhausted. And like, why would you
Yeah,
put yourself through that willingly?
yeah.
I get
True.
why. I get like it's a
Yeah,
good
yeah, for
cardio
sure.
workout, but you look like you want to die.
Yeah.
Like you look exhausted, in pain. In my luck, I'd have to run uphill, and that would not go well. I can't do it.
Yeah.
A couple questions came in. I'm going to save one that you may know a bit about for the end.
Okay.
See your thoughts. First one, what does it take to be a good basketball player?
Oh, it depends on what definition we're working with as a good basketball player. Are we talking like,
That
do you want to give me a definition of that?
the the question reads just as it is. What does it take to be a good basketball player? So I guess my definition of good would be different from your definition of good.
Right.
So let's base it off what you deem as good
Okay.
in a player. How do you be that good?
Okay. I think it's really about consistency. I
Mm-hmm.
think you have to be willing to work on your game, even in a situation like this in quarantine. You can't just let this time just stop you from working on your game. To be a good basketball player, you have to want to be a good basketball player too. It shouldn't just come naturally to you. I mean, some guys it does come
Mm-hmm.
naturally to them, but then they can work on their game and become a great basketball player. But you have to want to become a good basketball player. You can't just sit around and expect it to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just try, like, especially at a younger age, just try and play as much as you can. For me personally, basketball wasn't my main sport when I was a kid. I was always a football player growing up.
Okay.
But I was always involved in playing basketball, and I would play when I was in grade 6, 7, 8. I was playing with high school guys all the time, and I think that's a huge factor for helping me get to where I am now, playing college basketball. I mean, it's not the highest level of basketball. There's obviously higher colleges, universities, and then professional, but
Yep.
It's still a competitive league, and it's a competitive team to be a part of. So just play as much as you can at a younger age, and then you just got to want to be a good basketball player. It's not just going to come to you.
I think that's one of the things that you don't really see a lot of now in any sport is people just playing for fun. Like everybody wants to do individual workouts or group workouts or whatever it may be, but nobody just plays to play. Like growing up, it was always like you're out playing basketball 3-on-3, just whatever in the park, or football, road hockey, just whatever, just to play. But now everything's so serious, so structured that you forget to just play and enjoy it, because now everybody wants to be that next level, or they take it too seriously. They forget to have fun with it and just play and get reps in.
Yeah, exactly.
I Googled what defines a good basketball player just for this.
Okay.
This is the 10 qualities that make a basketball player great. So we're upping it to great now instead of good.
Okay.
Awareness, a strong mind, the desire to get better, which you touched on, determination, passion, mentally tough, being coachable. This list looks like it's longer than 10. Confidence, having the will to prepare to win, and making your teammates better. That's a lot to be a great basketball player.
What I touched on, just wanting to be better, I think that covers a lot of that. Like when you're doing your individual workouts, you have to have that passion, that determination, the strong mindset of like, when people aren't watching, you still have to work on your game, and you have to be willing to work on as hard as you can when you're on your own and when you're with another group. You can't be motivated by people's eyes watching you, what you do. And what you touched on there, wanting, like, being willing to be coached. That's, again, wanting to be better. Like, you can't just shut out coaches. Coaches are there to help you get better, and if you want to get better, you're going to listen to your coaches.
You can't come into it thinking you know everything already and just go about your business, because it's not going to last, especially going from high school to college. It's a totally different game, regardless of what level of college it is. It's night and day. And like you said, you got to put in the work behind the scenes. Like, it's grind in the dark to shine in the light, as cliche and as corny or whatever it is. It's true. Like, whatever you put in on your own is going to show in the spotlight. If you don't work on your own behind the scenes, the product in the light's going to be terrible. Like, it's going to be nowhere near where it needs to be. But I could have saved 9 things and just said the last one, and it would have summed everything up. But here I am reading 10 items, then I could have just read one. This one came from another coach in the OCAA.
Okay.
Not going to say men's or women's or what school, but what drives you personally to be great? These are deep questions too. Damn.
Yeah, they are.
Makes you think.
I want to walk away when I'm done playing college ball knowing I've reached my full potential.
Okay.
I don't want to walk away thinking like, hey, if I worked harder on this workout, or if I tried harder in this drill at practice, then I could have been a better basketball player, or I could have made this shot in a game, kind of thing. I want to walk away from my college experience knowing that I gave everything I could. So when I'm in my workouts, I try to push myself to the absolute limit, because I don't want to walk away from that workout thinking, oh, I could have done more. That's the biggest motivation for me.
I think you can apply that to anything, like academic wise too. The shoe business, kind of leave everything on the table. You don't want to leave yourself wondering, oh, what if I did this? Or like, oh, I should have done this, worked harder this day should have pushed harder to do more on this assignment or sell this shoe or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can apply that to any facet of what you've got going on, to just leave it all on the table. Like, I hate the 110% because you can't give 110%, but
Yeah.
like, just foot on the gas all the time and just don't give yourself any reason to doubt what you've done.
Yeah, for sure.
Last one
Okay.
that came in. It's do you feel you're more of player A or player B?
Okay.
And I got to share the screen because there's visual aids for people in case they don't know who they are.
Are these actual NBA players, or is this like?
They are past NBA players.
Okay.
Do you feel you're more of an Eric Montross or a Chris Mullin? So there's Eric Montross, people who don't know. And I can't see the tab because it's moving. Or Chris Mullin.
Oh, man.
And I have a feeling you know who may have sent this in.
Yeah.
I think I had my guess already, but I'm gonna leave it to you just to see.
I mean, you brought up the North Carolina picture.
That's what I had to do. You gotta play to the crowd. You know, I gotta play to who's on the other side of this. And you're the guest. You took your time to be on here. Of course, I got to put North Carolina.
That's tough.
Or do you see yourself as a combination of the two? Bit of both worlds?
I don't think – I mean, I've seen some highlights and stuff, but I think I'm too young to have an answer to that question.
That's why I brought the aids up just in case. I don't think many people would know.
I mean, like, I know who they both are. I've seen them play a bit, but I've only seen highlights. I never watched either of them play, so I don't even know if I can make a comparison to either of them.
Okay. I don't know how I can phrase that. Who would you want to be then?
Yeah.
Would you rather be a Montross or a Mullin? And
I mean, Mullin had the better career for sure.
See, my guess is you would have chose Montross because he's an all-time UNC great, and you could have been in that category of an all-time great at UNC, which includes Mike, others,
fair,
and you'd have your own. You'd have your own baby blue jersey with your own number and name associated with it.
Mm-hmm. But would it be cool to be a great at your favorite college, or would it be better to be a great in the NBA? I feel like I'd rather be a great. I feel like I'd rather be a great in the NBA. As much as it'd be cool to be a great for your favorite college team, I think it'd be cooler. Even, I mean, I'm not a Pacers fan at all, but go to the Pacers or Mullin with the he was with the Warriors too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, having your own Warriors jersey with your name on it.
Yeah. See, I think for me, there's more great NBA players than I think there are specific to colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I would rather I'd rather be well-known. I'd rather be like one of the all-time greats at a college.
Okay.
And be, like your average, have like a good basketball, like 10-15-year NBA career, because you're still going to make a decent living. And how many guys that are in the NBA go to the Hall of Fame anyways? Like, there's so many guys that come out. I'd rather have a great college career, give myself a better chance to be in the NBA than if I was just your run-of-the-mill. Not saying Mullin was run-of-the-mill, but I think I'd rather be known for my college career and be, 10, 15-year NBA guy, just steady as they go.
Yeah.
Still make
it more comparable for me would be like Tyler Hansbrough, because that's more recent. I'm too young to give you a strong enough opinion on that. Okay. And like I said, I was a football player growing up, so again, I didn't even watch basketball when I was younger. My first basketball memory I remember was the Dwight Howard Nate Robinson dunk contest, where Dwight Howard brought out the Superman uniform and Nate brought out the kryptonite, the shoes for the kryptonite shoes. So,
right.
Like that shows you how long I've been watching basketball. I haven't even been watching that long.
That's true. Okay, then like Hansbrough, then for example, was great in college. NBA
Yeah.
hasn't really translated. So I guess you kind of get that too. I mean, he was great in college, and he didn't really have the best NBA career. I think he's in the G League now, isn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He's
I'm not even
hopped
sure.
around between the two.
I don't remember where he went after the Raptors.
And then, like, you look at a guy like Denzel Valentine, Michigan State, stellar college career.
Yeah.
Came in with the Bulls. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
G League. I don't know. Like, if I think out of Montrose and Mullen, I'd probably take Montrose because he played in the NBA.
Yeah.
For a lengthy-ish career, but is an all-time great at UNC. Like, yeah,
that's fair.
But I guess Mullen probably had a good college career too, and then had a better NBA. I don't know. See, like I'm not good enough, so I would never be in that position anyways. So I'm probably going to get roasted for saying I'd be Montrose over Mullen, but that's fine. One last one before we wrap up. What excites you most about the future for you, whether it being in shoes, marketing, the team? What are you most looking forward to next year?
Well, I mean, in the current situation I'm in, I'm done school right now. I'm not really selling a ton of shoes, so my main focus is basketball. I'm just excited for hopefully another season.
Whatever it's going to be, some sort of season, please.
Exactly. Even if it's a delayed season or some sort of no fan season, that kind of thing. I'm just every day for me right now. I'm not focused on school. I'm not focused on shoes. I'm just focused on getting better for basketball. So that's my main focus right now.
There's a lot of people workouts at home just hoping that we get something, but nobody's come out and said what seasons are going to look like yet. Like across Canada, it's quiet. Only conference is Canada West, and they've gone to a 16-game season. Nobody knows. Nobody has
you just
any
gotta
idea.
Stay ready,
and you gotta get ready.
Come. Yeah.
Just put in the work, and then when they say you're ready to go, then you're ready to go. Because heaven forbid you don't work out in the summer, and then they say, we're back in the fall, and then you're playing catch up with everybody else. Like you're so far behind the eight ball. You just might as well just not show up at that point. Just quit and call it a day and try again next year.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Mason, I really appreciate you doing this. It's been 3 months since you or Watts or anybody's been in the office to just see what's going on and make fun of my Michigan State helmet or whatever it is. Really appreciate you doing this, and looking forward to seeing what you got going on with shoes, basketball, whatever else comes ahead. Really appreciate you coming on.
No, thanks for your time as well.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.